What Sean McVay just said about Declan Doyle will have Ravens fans fired up. During a recent interview, Sean McVay was asked about the new OC Declan Doyle and what Ravens fans can expect from his offense. McVay explained that the NFL's best offenses now share the same core principles, even though every team builds its scheme around a different personnel. This is exactly why it is so interesting for the Baltimore Ravens, as Declan Doyle isn't coming to Baltimore to install Chicago's offense. He is bringing modern offensive concepts that can be adapted to Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens offense's unique skill set. So today we're going to break down exactly what Sean McVay said, what Declan Doyle can bring to Baltimore that looks completely different, and why this offense could look completely different compared to previous years and previous offensive coordinators that the Baltimore Ravens have had over the past couple of years. But before we get into today's video, you guys are going to want to make sure to subscribe to Ravens Digest. We are currently at 784 subscribers out of 1,000 to our goal of hitting 1,000 subscribers. It is completely free, no cost at all, no price at all, so you have to hit that subscribe button. And we are providing daily Ravens videos and updates and rumors. If you guys are enjoying the daily content, be sure to hit that subscribe button as it helps out a lot. Now, Sean McVay has talked about Declan Doyle recently in a very light and kind-hearted way. As we know, let's get into what Sean McVay actually said. Sean McVay, when speaking about Declan Doyle, spoke very highly about the offensive background that he is bringing to Baltimore. He discussed how today's NFL offenses continue to evolve and how coaches across the league constantly learn from one another. The biggest takeaway about successful offenses are all built around principles and not just the specific playbook. Creating advantages in the offensive scheme, putting players in better situations, and making the game easy for your quarterback. McVay's comments showed why Baltimore felt really comfortable giving Declan Doyle this opportunity to be at the helm of the Baltimore Ravens offensive system. And the Baltimore Ravens weren't hiring somebody that they could just take and copy another team's system from. They hired somebody that understands how offenses work and how the offense can be adapted due to what the Baltimore Ravens offer compared to Chicago's offense and their style of play. Now, what really stood out about Sean McVay wasn't just the compliment that he gave towards Declan Doyle as a whole, it was how McVay described the Baltimore Ravens and today's offenses around the NFL. McVay explained that some of the best offenses now have the same core ideas, and this doesn't mean that the team runs every system that is ran in the NFL. It means that successful offenses are built around similar goals on an offensive scheme. Creating easier throws, using motions to identify defensive coverages, creating mismatches before the snap and post-snap, and putting your playmakers in positions where they can succeed. Helping the quarterback instead of asking him to create for himself every opportunity is also key, and with the NFL constantly changing every single year, the best coaches take successful concepts and adjust them to fit their own personnel. This is the exact situation that Declan Doyle has in Baltimore now, from leaving the Chicago Bears, and something that Declan Doyle can positively bring to the Baltimore Ravens. And if Ravens fans want to know what kind of impact Declan Doyle can have, you don't have to look too far back. You can look based on last season of what happened in Chicago. Before coming to Baltimore, Declan Doyle was part of the offensive staff during the 2025 season, and Chicago was going through a major offensive transition under their first-year head coach of Ben Johnson. The goal was building an offense around maximizing the talent around you, and the focus was about creating easier reads for your quarterback. In that situation, it was Caleb Williams. Creating better opportunities for playmakers and making a defense defend the entire field is key. And while Ben Johnson was the head coach and the primary offensive architect, Doyle was a part of the staff and helped implement an offensive vision that showed a major step forward in Chicago football. But the biggest aspect of Chicago football taking off last season looked no further than the biggest example of Caleb Williams last season. After a difficult rookie season, Williams showed new growth in the new offensive environment. He threw for 3,942 yards with 27 touchdowns, and more importantly, the offense put him in a better situation as he had a clearer read, more opportunities off the play action, a chance to get the ball to his playmakers well more often, and instead of Caleb Williams being constantly having to create outside structure plays, the system helped him play faster and more sane. This is something that Ravens fans should pay attention to because now Declan Doyle has this opportunity to work with Lamar Jackson from this perspective. But even if we look further down Chicago and look at their receiver room, another player who benefited was Rome Odunze, as he was a very important beast for the Chicago Bears offense last season. The former first-round pick of the Chicago Bears continued to develop into a major part of the passing attack, as Odunze had a very successful season with his size, his catchability, and his downfield skill, giving Chicago Chicago a very dangerous weapon. A good offensive system doesn't just only benefit quarterbacks, it also helps young players maximize their strengths. And if you look at another young player during that run last season, Luther Burton was another key piece that added another dimension to the Chicago Bears offensive room. His explosiveness and his ability after the catch gave the Bears a dynamic option to go for, and Chicago found different ways to get him involved in every play. Whether it was a quick screen throw, a design touch, or creating space for him to make plays, the ability to use this young talent is something that he can use within the new young Baltimore Ravens receiving room, and hopefully Doyle can bring something expansive to this offense. But if we apply this same idea lastly to the running game that the Chicago Bears had last season, look no further than running back rookie Kyle Monangai. Kyle Monangai had been an important part of Chicago's offense last season, and he finished 2025 with 783 rushing yards and 4.5 yards per carry. Chicago created its opportunities from its backs through that structure, and this is very interesting when you look at Baltimore, since you know we have the big tandem of Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry can now get work from Declan Doyle, and if he creates the same similar advantages for Baltimore's rushing attack, this is something that could be very, very dangerous for Derrick Henry, and he had a great year last year, so to take this and have a new offensive scheme, Derrick Henry could have another 1,500 to 2,000 yard rushing season. And this is where the biggest question becomes: what will actually change from the Baltimore Ravens room last year? As we know, the Baltimore Ravens have been a team to run many different schemes, and during the first early years, the Baltimore Ravens have been known for using the pistol formation. During this, the offensive coordinator at the helm during this time was Greg Roman. Greg Roman used this pistol mindset to try and eliminate and bring in the factor of Lamar Jackson being able to have quarterback reads, those option zone concepts and those read options, and design quarterback runs and downhill rushing plays. It created more stress for defenses to account for Lamar Jackson as a runner on every play. But the one thing that we had criticism for about Greg Roman's offense was the fact that the passing game was not developing in the same way that it should have been. Take this and fast forward with Roman being fired and then us bringing in Todd Monken. Todd Monken took over and tried to create a better offensive system for the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar was asked to be out of the pocket way more. The offense incorporated more traditional passing concepts, and now Declan Doyle has the opportunity this season to combine all of these things and these former incorporations and keep the physical rushing identity successful, but also have more passing and more offensive structure. This can mean more motions, more play actions, more formation varieties, and just making sure that defenses are forced to make difficult decisions when it comes to the Baltimore Ravens offense. The goal isn't working away from what works, it's making Baltimore harder to prepare for on a week-to-week basis, and if Declan Doyle hire seems very fascinating, it is because a quarterback he is working with in Lamar Jackson is unlike anybody else in the entire NFL. When we talk about Lamar Jackson, as we know, he is already proven and can carry an offense. He has won an MVP and a two-time MVP, and he has led the league in one of the most productive offenses over the past couple of years. But the next step has been finding ways to make Baltimore more efficient in big moments and in the playoffs. This is where offensive principles can really help us. Modern offenses are looking to create answers before the snap, and motions can reveal many things about a defensive coverage. Formation changes can force communication problems, and play action can create hesitation from these defensive backs and defenders. Lamar does not need to become a different quarterback. As we know, Lamar Jackson needs to create offensive situations where he can be at his best. This is not replacing Lamar Jackson in his creativity. As we know, he likes to run around the pocket and create loose opportunities. It's about giving him more opportunities to use it in multiple different ways. And ultimately, as we know, every single offensive decision comes back to Lamar Jackson as a player. Lamar Jackson can create unbelievable plays, as we know. The challenge is happening and making these plays happen way more consistently. And a strong offensive system within Declan Doyle can help the system and create advantages before the play even starts. Whether it's better spacing, cleaner reads, more defined progressions, and more opportunities for our receivers to win on their routes. The best offenses in football don't rely on one player to save them. They create situations where an offense can work together as a whole. And this is what Declan Doyle is trying to build in this new offensive scheme. An offense where Lamar Jackson is still the biggest weapon, but he doesn't have to do everything by himself every single play. And this is why I really admired what Sean McVay was talking about in this specific interview. Sean McVay spoke about how he was a big influence in terms of creating a new offensive mindset. And as we know, Sean McVay was one of the biggest influences on the new modern NFL style. Whether it's his spacing, his play action, the way that he motions his receivers, and he creates favorable matchups, especially due to him having stars such as Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. What stood out about McVay's comments the most was the fact that league offenses share similar foundations, but all have their own different scheme, as we've talked about. They are bringing in a coach in Baltimore who can understand these concepts, and the Baltimore Ravens already have elite talent as a whole. Within the Baltimore Ravens and the new group that we have assembled, the Baltimore Ravens know what we have. We have very elite talent. Lamar Jackson is the MVP. Derrick Henry is one of the best running backs of the entire generation. And Zay Flowers is the explosive playmaker that we know he is. And Rashad Bateman can be a difference maker when he's healthy. And with the newest signing and what we are building within the O-line, it could really be a huge piece. This is why this Declan Doyle hire is such an important hire for the Baltimore Ravens and this new scheme, and they are taking over a talented unit and making it more difficult for defenses to defend the Baltimore Ravens offense. But at the end of the day, Sean McVay didn't say that the Baltimore Ravens are going to become the Rams in any degree. What he explained is that with football continuing to evolve and what he already likes about Declan Doyle and his concepts, Baltimore should be built around Lamar Jackson and the strengths that have made the offense so dangerous over the past couple of years. And adding this new idea could make Sean McVay and Declan Doyle's comments as a whole a reason for the Baltimore Ravens to be excited and for fans to be excited going into this upcoming season. But I want to hear from you guys, Ravens flock. What are you most excited to see about Declan Doyle's offense this season? Are you looking for less pistol formations, more of an under center look, more creativity? And do you think Baltimore should keep leaning on what has already been successful and worked? Let me know down below in the comments, and if you've enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to Ravens Digest, it is completely free for more Ravens news, rumors, and analysis, and turn on those notifications so you never miss an upload. Thank you guys for watching another episode of Ravens Digest, and we'll see you on the next one. Ravens flock, until then, always.